In the decade of agitation that began with the Stamp Act of 1765, Americans used various forms of protest and violence to oppose the Acts of Parliament that Britain tried to impose on them. To rally popular support against British policy, American patriots erected liberty poles or hung effigies from liberty trees. Usually these effigies represented British leaders whom Americans held responsible for offensive policies, or the local officials who implemented those policies. One way to prevent British policies from taking effect was to convince colonial officials that it would be dangerous to carry them out. Someone appointed to collect the stamp tax might think twice about doing his duty if he had been hung in effigy, or if hundreds of angry colonists gathered at his home to urge him to resign his office. When these measures proved unpersuasive, colonists took more violent measures. Merchants who violated colonial boycotts of British goods had their stores or houses coated with something called Hillsborough paint, which was a crude mixture of wastes named after an unpopular British minister. The most effective form of violence was tarring and feathering. Unpopular officials were paraded around in carts, decked in an outfit of feathers held to their clothing and skin by ship tar. Beyond the public humiliation, removal of the tar was excruciatingly painful. The Boston Massacre of 1770 suggests what could happen when such measures got out of hand. But more often, this violence was kept within well-defined bounds. British officials were intimidated, but not assassinated. Women demonstrated their resistance to British policy by supporting the boycotts of imported goods. For example, by increasing domestic production of clothing rather than purchase British textiles. Although this effort was often the target of British satire, it gave American women a real sense of participation in politics. When a New York crowd celebrated the Declaration of Independence by pulling down a statue of George III, they closed a decade of protest in which symbolic acts had played an important part in rallying public opinion.